Hello, this is Jeremy from Blue Water Climate Control. I grew up in Tennessee, and when I was 9 years old, the World's Fair came to Knoxville. I was in awe of the Sun Sphere. I dreamed of living in Knoxville. To me, it was the center of the world. After 24 years in the Navy, I've been around the world and visited dozens of countries. My family has moved all over. Now here we are running Blue Water Climate Control right here in Knoxville, the dream I had when I was just 9 years old. Blue Water Climate Control, veteran service, superior value.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? It's just me again. Sorry, guys. You stuck with me again. I think they're all restauranting business. I knew I could count on Credence and the cat. Here comes Fido. She's ready. She's all right. All right. How's everybody doing after that double overtime win by the Chicago Sky? What a game. Is everybody tired? I am. Had to watch my Braves. Then I was flipping back and forth between the Braves and Chicago, trying to keep two screens going. Hello, Renee. How are you? It's good to see you. Beth is here. Yes, that was fun to watch. Candace is not as young as she used to be, and I bet she's feeling that game today. What a monumental effort by Candace. Sorry, all the other group people are talking with me who can't be here, who can figure out. They've got to get the Twitter reconnected. I think I've got this particular show streaming out on my Twitter, but I could be wrong because that isn't the way we really want it. Yeah, it's working on my Twitter. Look at me go. But that's not how we want to do the other shows. So it is working, and I'll tell them they can't be here with me, but they're texting me, man. But that's the restaurant business. Creta said that was a good game. It really was. Beth, 2 overtimes is too much. I agree. I was tired. I was tired watching. I cannot imagine that team. Courtney Vandersloot, my goodness. Only the second triple-double in WNBA playoff history. The other one was somebody you probably heard of, Cheryl Swoops. So flowers, hats off, everything to Vandersloot. What a performance. What was it, 18 assists she ended up, 18 or 19? Just an incredible game. Big win, too, for Chicago, because you got to play 2 at Connecticut, and you drop that first game in double overtime. Boy, does that make game 2 even harder. And then you go back home where you can host, and you don't want to be down in a hole 0-2. So they'll at least take 1 win into Chicago, and I'm sure they'd rather go in with 2. But that was a great way to open their semifinal series. Donna Hairston is at Dollywood. Ooh, hanging out at Dollywood. You're in a great place. You're not too far from me, really, but good for you at Dollywood. Amanda said 18 assists. Thank you. I thought it was 18. Like I said, I was flipping between. I was watching on my phone, and I had my live where I could stream my cable on my phone, and I just had those 2 channels plugged in. I was going back and forth between the Braves. Everybody knows I'm a big Braves fan because they're playing Philly. That was a big game. And the Chicago, and then I stayed up as long as I could to watch Phoenix and Las Vegas Aces, particularly Nikki Caldwell Fargas, now being president of the Las Vegas team. So I was trying to watch that. Phoenix obviously gave a gallant effort against Las Vegas, but Las Vegas takes a 1-0 lead in that series. So these final 4 teams left in the women's WNBA are incredible 4 to watch. Beth said, go Braves. Thank you, Beth. Creta said, how's it already been a week since the last show? I don't know. How is Friday, October 1st? What? Here we go. Beth said Aces were past my bedtime. I did not make it to the end. I did check a final score, I think, because my dogs are always waking me up about something. So, I could not stay up all the way through the 4th quarter on that one. Credence said tip times announced. Yes, we got that today. Not all of them, but the majority of them, which helps. Do you know when the athletic department will give season ticket holders their tickets? I think tickets get mailed out sometime in like mid-October. Obviously, the first game is November 3rd. I don't know that tickets are being mailed out now. I mean, everybody seems to have gone to that ticketless procedure of not printed tickets with everything being electronic. So I'm not sure how that works. I'm a season ticket holder for Smokies baseball. We used to always have individual printed tickets, but this year we just got a card that we showed for our seats. So it's a little bit, everybody's trying to do obviously less physical contact with the handling of tickets. I agree, Credence. I like a printed ticket. I'm old school. I prefer print me a real ticket and hand it to me, especially if I want to share it with somebody or other tickets I have. It's a little harder with a card because you got to call and leave tickets at will call and get them to print them there. And I do understand electronic tickets in this era, but Credence, you are way younger than me, so I'm glad to see we got some youngsters. My dogs are misbehaving already, aren't they? I know y'all are. What are y'all doing? I said it wasn't me. They were asleep too. They've had dinner. They were asleep and they're misbehaving. But yeah, I like tickets. I like old concert ticket stubs. Somewhere I still have my ticket stub from 1985 when I saw Prince in concert in Memphis. And I'm sorry, but you cannot preserve something like that on a phone with some electronic ticket that you have. The one thing people need to really watch that schedule if you're going to home games or trying to tune in on either regular broadcast or what they call non-linear. That's the word now for ones that are live streamed on like SEC Network Plus, is that 9 home games are across the non-conference and the conference schedule are on SEC Plus, and they will start at 6:30 p.m. That includes the exhibition game November 3rd against Georgia College, coached by Kelly's brother. So that'll be fun. That will be a 6:30 game. So keep that in mind if you're headed over to the arena. I believe that's a Wednesday. I also can't believe that's really like a month away. Wow. And once it starts rolling, it rolls fast, like real fast. So be sure you check those game times every game, particularly if you're planning on recording or coming to the arena. Me and my mom panicked. I was like, "You're going to be able to get off work on time to take us?" I think your mom should have a written excuse from Kelly or somebody, Credence, that she has to leave early. And I have noticed with some of those 6:30 times that people are arriving pretty close to tip. But sometimes I don't mind it because you get done a little bit sooner, so I'm not really opposed to it. But it does put more pressure on people trying to get home from work and pick somebody up and get to the game. So we do have a really late tip. Let's see. I wrote down some notes. Oh, January 13th. It's late for me. It's probably not late for anybody else, but it will be. It's at Nashville. It's the game at Vandy. So in Nashville, it's a 9 p.m. local Eastern time start. Obviously 8 o'clock in Nashville. Those are like the tip-off times I dread. I'm like at halftime. I'm ready for bed, and that's not a possibility. So just be careful when you're going to games or watching or setting up, you're streaming or you're recording. Make sure you check those tip times this year. Couple games, their tip time is not set yet. Stanford being one of them, and Connecticut being one of them. And if you printed out an earlier schedule, keep in mind that the Kentucky game moved one day, so make sure you get your schedule updated. It was set for Sunday, January 16th. It is now moved to Monday, January 17th. I have not seen a time yet listed for that, and it's going to kick off the We Back Pat week for Tennessee, so definitely is a game that people will want to be at, so just keep in mind that will be on a Monday. Karen said, Maria, can we talk about your thoughts regarding the sanctions on Georgia, and how do you feel about Florida coaches' treatment of the players? Well, that Florida story, first, kudos to the Alligator. That's a student-run campus newspaper. Obviously, they have faculty oversight. It's not students that are not. I mean, there is supervision and teaching and learning, but that was a very well-researched story, and also one done with without anonymous sources. For a story like that, someone has to go on the record before you make those kind of allegations, because those are quite serious allegations, and multiple people went on the record. So outstanding job of reporting by the campus newspaper. So I want to say that first. I always preface anything I say about a matter like that with, these are allegations. So I am not going to declare a coach guilty of what has been alleged, but I will say those allegations were some of the most serious I've heard in a while. And you do have the fact that he resigned for personal reasons last summer, just a few weeks after being extended on his contract. I think another thing that was disturbing about that is the player who mentioned contacting a former Belmont player and getting a less than stellar review about what he was like as a coach. So that would indicate a pattern of behavior. So it is quite disturbing to read. I mean, it was actually horrific. I mean, that is incredible abuse. There's a lot of parts of it that were troublesome, and I think perhaps one of the most was having a player do a wall sit and the allegation of throwing basketballs at her head. I mean, that is unhinged behavior. That's not a coach being angry or a coach disciplining a player. That is abuse, as alleged. Again, I know none of this has been something that has actually been adjudicated, and there are no criminal charges, so it may never actually know exactly what happened, but there was enough there to be very concerned about the well-being of those players. The Beth said the UF assistant, who's now interim, should be gone. She knew. I get that. I do get that, because for this to work, several people have to not come forward. It also does sound like the entire staff were targets, and that also is a red flag for me, because that is really controlling a situation. And I think I used to be a police reporter, and so I was used to writing about and reporting on the horrible things that human beings could do to other human beings, and a lot of that would involve domestic violence cases of some kind, some of which were fatal, and some of which were just horrific and sad. And one of the constants and people who work with domestic violence victims would tell you this too, is sometimes abusers do just enough. I mean, they toy with you. They do enough to make you feel like it's abuse, and then they're being very nice to you and kind to you. And it really plays mind games with a person, and it would be particularly effective against players in that age group of college. But to Beth's point, it also is very concerning that this behavior was allowed to continue for so long. And the silence needed to be broken. Clearly, something happened that broke that. And the interim coach may have been involved in that, perhaps. So I will be very curious to see what, if anything, happens moving forward. It would be hard to bring a criminal case. I mean, you could. I mean, the allegations there are assault, but well beyond what is allowed in a coaching environment. But to put that together now could be quite difficult to do. And prosecutors, they want cases that they can prosecute, and you would have to get into issues of intent and witnesses and and sometimes people they don't want to put themselves through that. So I don't know. I mean, Quentin Hillsman, there were, allegations of a culture there that were quite damaging to players. Somebody asked where did he land, Renee? I don't know that he's landed anywhere. I haven't seen it, and I'm not sure that he can at this point. I can't imagine a school, at least a school, a college. I mean, I guess there is perhaps some program or something somewhere that would, I don't know. I mean, you could not do that. A college AD could not do that. You hire someone with that track record, and I mean, immediately the wrath is going to descend. So I don't know that he's landed anywhere. I don't know that he will land anywhere in women's basketball. Beth said Strickland also didn't act in a timely manner. No, Beth, you're correct. All of this is there's plenty of failure by adults, because the one issue that has not been resolved, wait a minute, the AD just extended you, and then suddenly there's a statement that you didn't fulfill the requirements of disciplinary remedial action. I mean, all of that happened in what, 3 to 5 weeks? I mean, it defies, that's not a plausible explanation to me. But I base this on everything I've read. Renee said I saw that Hillsman is overseas now. I mean, that's always a possibility to go overseas and get hired by a program there. Amanda said, I think in Spain. I assume that's women. Renee said he should be banned from basketball for women forever. No, I agree, but some people just land on their feet. And some people, I have always had a theory, now that y'all have taken me down this path. Sometimes people are very staunch defenders of people who have done this. And that can come from the pulpit, from an athletic department, from a school, from the bench, judiciary cases. It can come from all walks of life. And I always wonder if perhaps the people who do such a thing, such as hire someone who has that kind of past, isn't hiding something themselves. And if they confront that this is wrong to do because of what this person has done, they have to confront the fact that they did it too, and what they did was wrong. So there could be some delusion here when that happens. But I mean, we shall see. Coaches look at baseball and NFL. I talk about recycling coaches. You fail here. I mean, men's football, for that matter, men's basketball, you fail one place and you just go recycle somewhere else. And not all of those exits are that clean. Credence says that stuff is so sad. No, I agree. Today, all of my days are just constant work. What is going on is it Georgia Tech? What is going on with the Georgia revision? Let me look that up. Somebody who knows, give me a Cliff Notes version of it. I am just buried in work lately. Georgia Tech basketball. So I'm looking it up while y'all are watching me look it up. I assume we mean basketball. All right, what's the news on Georgia Tech? Who knows? Georgia Tech. Is it women's basketball? Women's basketball. Aha, here we go. NCAA puts Georgia Tech on 3 years probation. Okay, let's see. What does that refer to? Well, that was last week. So I really missed this. Okay, citing violations it said had been committed by former head coach Michelle Joseph. I figured it would not be Nell Fortner. She just got there. The team will be allowed to participate in the NCAA tournament through its probationary period, but will have to pay a $5,000 fine and lose 1% of the program's annual budget. It will begin its probationary period, the women's, after the men's program finishes in 2023. So they won't begin it until 2023. Interesting. And I realized there were allegations there too by players of difficulties with the former coach. I don't remember the specifics of them, and I remember thinking they were serious. I will say that I don't recall them rising to the level of what I read about Florida, but it was clearly a situation where Georgia Tech needed to make a coaching change. So it is something to keep in mind. And I know some of the naysayers will say, well, your kids can't take tough coaching. Well, I mean, there's tough coaching, and then there's throwing a basketball at a player's head while they do a wall sit. I mean, that should get you, if it's a one-off thing, that should at least be a suspension. If it's a pattern of behavior, it will get you fired, or it should get you fired. So I feel sorry for those kids and their parents, because their parents send them away with certain expectations of what will happen to them while they are in college. And it sounds like, from reading that story, that a lot of players were really beaten down. I mean, I'm talking psychologically with what happened. So it's I saw a couple TikToks too. Some of the players were, some of them were, their TikTok reactions were angry at what had happened, and also taunting of, you thought about karma and how you thought it would get to me, but it got to you, which also lends credence to the allegations, because the players are quite demonstrative in their reaction to the news. So obviously there's a lot that occurred there that left a lot of bitterness and issues in their wake. I never thought they should have fired Amanda Butler. I thought that was interesting. I thought it was too soon. She's obviously gone to Clemson and done well there. Florida, in the time that Cam's there, I don't think they've had a winning season yet in 4 years. But granted, one of those was a pandemic year, so I don't know. It's a great question. It's disturbing, and it's an issue in sports of where is that line. But while it may not be that easy to say where that line is, we sure as heck all know when you've gone over it. And I just applaud that student newspaper for doing what it did, because one of the players they said was suicidal. I was going to say it could have saved lives. It could have. I mean, if a player is driven to the point of wanting to end her life over treatment by a coach, the red flags on that one are just tremendous. So I will be curious to see what the additional fallout is going forward, and my best to the players who remain and then the players who left. And I don't know that there are any criminal avenues to pursue, but you certainly could pursue civil ones if so inclined. And so we'll see how it goes. What else have I missed? Cheryl Ford said the men's probation ends and then women's begin. That's why delayed start. Okay. Thank you. Recruiting news, none yet. I am working on getting together a full 2023 list now that 2022 is winding down, at least as far as high school recruiting. The transfer portal still, of course, looms in the spring. But I'm trying to compile a list of all the players that I think, from different places I can find, there's interest, communication between that player and Tennessee. I think right now I've got about 20 names on the list in 2023. Now that I've told people that does not mean every one of those names holds a committable offer. We will take you right now. It just means there's mutual interest on both sides. So this weekend there's nothing. Obviously the football team's on the road. They'll be at Missouri. Another noon tip. Yay. I'm not liking these noon tips. I think there's another one coming up too right after that. So it's also fall break, I believe, tomorrow and Friday. So the players will have a very brief break, and then official practice starts, I believe, Sunday, October 3rd, because that's October, and here we go. So that's when everything will get interesting. First game, obviously a month away from that start of first practice, but nobody will be on campus this weekend, so there will not be any visits. Kyla Odeker, I think I've got that right now, will be here next week, I believe Thursday or Friday, like the 7th or 8th, in that weekend time frame there. And then, of course, Talasia Cooper already visited in September, and Justine Passat will be here. She's the one who's already committed, not taking any other visits. She will be here the mid-April weekend. I believe that would be the 17th, 18th in that time period. That will also be Lady Vol Family Weekend, where all the families will come in of the current players, and they'll do fun things and bonding and have a great time together. So that'll be perfect for Justine to have her official visit on that weekend, because she can participate in those with the family as someone on an unofficial visit. She can do all the fun things they do off campus. So that will be really nice for her. I did see that she moved up to number 11. And I think y'all have heard me in the past that I don't put a lot of stock in recruiting lists, because there's simply no way to evaluate all the players properly. There's not enough personnel to do so. A lot of the recruiting lists have their own teams that they sponsor, so you're going to see those players just by logistics a whole lot more than you see other players. Justine Passat was a player who played on a smaller program on the Jersey Shore, and her parents decided she was better off with that team and getting in the gym on her own all summer, as opposed to them spending thousands of dollars to traipse all over the country with their child while she was a freshman and sophomore and junior in high school. Of course, last year she was a junior, where people weren't really going anywhere anyway because of the pandemic. So she is a fantastic player, great shooter, but it's not like she's some unknown person that suddenly got great. She was great 2 years ago. It's just nobody saw her, so she barely cracked even the top 100 list. Now suddenly she got seen last spring and summer, and she's number 11. Did she suddenly go from number 70 whatever to number 11? No. She was a top probably 15 player 2 years ago. It's why I tell people, don't put so much stock in these listings and these recruiting listings. They simply have no way to be that accurate. They're a snapshot of time, and some players are not going to get seen because they're not at the right events or the right showcase events, or they're not part of this sponsored team. Or it's like everything else. There's a lot of politics in it. There's a lot of self-promotion in it. There's a lot of money in it. So Justine Passat is someone that Kelly saw in 2019, shortly after she became head coach at Tennessee. And it did Kelly immediately after watching her for an event up in, I believe it was in Pennsylvania, thanks to Lacey Goldwire. Lacey Goldwire, who, while she was at Arkansas, had been in on her early and loved her. And we all know Arkansas likes players that can shoot. And Kelly went to see her and wanted her and offered her pretty quickly and got her in here on an unofficial visit. And she committed 2 or 3 weeks later. So I will always trust the eyes of coaches in evaluating players in person over any list. But for those who like list, she's number 11 on that list now. So maybe that'll hush some of the haters, like Kelly's got to get a top 10 kid or a top kid. Okay, fine. She's got a top 11, probably could be higher than that on one of those lists you worship. So yay. you should be happy now. I guess I better pay some bills here. I always forget that part. So y'all get me talking about stuff. Of course, we have OrangeMountainDesigns.com. Sam Strong, that is raising money for pediatric research, and Blue Water Climate Control. Also, let's get my other ones, Collective Unfiltered. They were here Monday night. I was busy working, could not make that. Alexis Hornbuckle Basketball, Just Pass It Tutoring in the Gold Standard by former Lady Vol soccer player Jamel Johnson. Terry still has this shirt available. It will ship tomorrow. You can pre-order now. They are still available. It says Peace, Love, Cure, One Team, One Dream, and Cancer. And those players underneath the names are, of course, Ashley Rogers and TK and Kiki Malloy and Jordan Horston. There's Jordan with the orange cap on, and then Tamari, who's taller than everybody else, then Ashley Rogers and Kiki Malloy. So please that support Orange Mountain Designs, $5 of every shirt. So we'll go to making strides against breast cancer, which I appreciate because I am on the committee for that annual event that we put on with the walk. And I really appreciate Terry stepping up to do that very much. Karina said, "What's happened with Lacey Goldwire? I've heard some tea. I don't spill any tea here. I don't know. All I know is that when things end or people separate, there's three sides to every story. One side by each person, and then other people who in the middle and hear things. My approach is to just wish everybody well and take the high road. So, if y'all want to spill, y'all can spill among yourselves. But I have to. I'll stay out of the fray. Besides wishing everybody well, I have nothing negative to say about that situation, and would also, as a Lady Vol fan, I think it'd be appropriate to thank Lacey for telling Kelly about Justine Passat, because Justine Passat with that range is like, the Arkansas players that step back and shoot 25-foot threes. That's you can't coach that. You can either hit a step back 25-foot three-pointer, or you can't. Cheryl said, "How about our Lady Vol for Life CP3 in that game last night?" Cheryl, she looked exhausted. I was exhausted watching her. Candace is not as young as she used to be, and she played every minute of that overtime. I know they tried to get her some rest in the fourth quarter, but there was no way you could take her off the floor in either overtime. What a game. I mean, what a game by both teams. What a performance by Courtney Vandersloot. My goodness. That pass Candace made to Diamond, where she faked the pass like she was going to drive, and then Diamond cut. I mean, I've heard that expression, you reach, I teach. That's exactly what a defender reached for the ball, and bam, it was gone. It was in Diamond's hands. So it was a heck of a game. And Candace is obviously elevated Chicago to another level. Chicago has tremendous talent. They had tremendous talent a year ago. Candace elevated that talent, and she is she understands the game so well. That expression, you make other players on the floor better. Candace does that because she knows how to get everybody in position, and she knows what a team needs to hear. And then, I mean, she's one of the best basketball players on the planet. And while she's getting older, her skill set is still tremendous. So what a great game by Candace and the Chicago Sky. And I'm sure there were a lot of ice baths and a lot of physical therapy needed last night and today to get the soreness out of that game. Both sides looked tired. By that second overtime, when you saw players that were barely getting any air under their shot, I mean, that's when the legs are just about to go. So props to them, because that was a heck of a game. Let's see. Lady Vol volleyball doing amazing. And Amanda said Lady Vol volleyball on SEC Network tonight at 8 against Auburn. Yes, that game is in Knoxville. Thank you for the reminder. It is 8 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network. So you can tune in when we are done here. Volleyball has started 2-0 in the SEC. I believe they're now 10-2 overall. They had the 2 wins against Arkansas, really doing a lot. To start this season, doing what they need to do. Soccer apparently has decided to give their fans double heart attacks with their double overtime wins back to back. They had the one at home, obviously, against Auburn, and then had to get on the road and go play at Missouri, a game that also went to double overtime. So they are now 2-1 in the SEC, and I believe they play October. Yeah, they play Friday. I think they're at Texas A&M for a Friday night game. So one thing too that soccer has this season, or what they call those SEC weekends. It's not every weekend, but you play on a Thursday, Sunday, and that is a quick turnaround because you play in a Thursday night game at home, and then you got to be in Missouri for a Sunday afternoon game. So I mean, Friday you're going to practice right after a double overtime win. Saturday, you're still going to practice, probably not go up and down a whole lot because you got to have your legs for the game. But soccer takes a lot out of you. That's a lot of running. I think it's one reason I never gravitated to soccer. I'm like, that's a lot of running. So that's those Thursday, Sunday games are gut check games. And Sunday, I was watching that game and I thought they look a little tired. Their legs just aren't there. And that's the effect of having played a Thursday night game, and then you got to get on the road. So, but it's great to see. Great to see the Lady Vols doing well. I know swimming is getting started. Women's swimming is very strong. Tennis is doing well. Golf, I mean, they have a new coach and a very small roster, but they competed in their last home tournament. I think they were tied for first or second going into the final round. I think they finished 5th. So that is it'll take time, but Diana Cantu, I believe I'm saying her name correctly, former Lady Vol. I have a lot of faith in her that she will get things done for the Lady Vol golf team. And it's just, like y'all said, it's good to see Lady Vols doing well in all sports. Credit said, any promotion for the Lady Vols? Credit, I assume you mean basketball. Those haven't been announced yet. Beyond that Kentucky game is the We Back Pat game. But there should be promotions. Maybe there'll be, I don't know, about halftime performances. I mean, everything with the pandemic still up in the air in terms of all the protocols and strategies. I mean, right now things are steaming ahead. So hopefully everything will stay that way. But I haven't heard anything about promotions. Kimberly, the first day of practice is Sunday, October 3rd. The players have a brief break. There's no classes Thursday and Friday. So I believe they have Thursday, Friday, Saturday off for some. You can make a quick trip home or just catch up on some stuff with school and things you need to get done. And then you will have first practice October 3rd, Sunday. So and here it goes. Kimberly also asked, are they doing Rocky Top tip-off this year? I have not heard any news about that. I think things are just sort of week by week and seeing how things are going. I haven't heard anything about it. And then when they do those, they're typically mid-October at the latest. So if such was going to happen, it would need to be announced pretty soon. But I haven't heard anything about it. I guess y'all know there is no SEC Media Basketball Day in person. There will just be a series of online releases by assorted schools. So that's a pandemic casualty of not gathering all the teams and player representative and coaches in one spot. We've also talked about the fact that if you cannot, and this is not just the SEC, this is major conferences all over, there will not be rescheduling of games if you have a COVID outbreak or a contact tracing, or you cannot field enough players because of that to take the court or the field. In the case of other sports, you will forfeit the game and your opponent will receive an SEC win for a game that was forfeited. So it is obviously something that's going to be week by week again still, because basketball is an indoor sport. It's played indoors, it's practiced indoors. Teams are very confined, hotels, buses, locker rooms. You're talking about having fans back in the stands. I don't know yet what protocols will be for all the people at the scores table and media, but the more people you have in any particular environment, the more likely something can be transmitted. May not be COVID, it could be other flu viruses, but if you have something that wipes out your team or does not allow you to put it, I think it's 6 is the minimum you have to be able to put on the floor, and I'm not even sure you want to at 6 in terms of the injury risk. But if there's anything that would prevent you from putting enough players on the court, you would have to take the forfeit. So it's sort of a draconian measure without the safety measures that we had of last season. So I will be curious to see how it is, how it plays out. I'm just hoping that everything can get back under control and we can all have a very healthy season going forward. Kimberly said South Carolina's having an inter-squad scrimmage Friday, and I think it's open for season ticket holders. Yes, you cannot do any promotion of your individual workouts in September prior to the start of practice, and the start of practice can be the last day of September or late September. I know the men are already back based on your first game. So that's a good method of reaching out to fans, and it's something that they can do because now they are in official practice and they can have fans in the stands. Cheryl said, we'd love to see our team have a scrimmage like that. It's obviously something you have to plan in advance. And the tip-off, the Rocky Top tip-off was something that they did with the men and the women, where you have an inter-squad scrimmage between the teams where they break into orange and white teams. So I have not heard anything about that. The last one, of course, was 2019. 2020 was the year that never happened. So we did not see anything like that. So there is precedent for doing that. Tennessee has done it, but they opened it up as a free event for all fans and typically time it around a big football weekend. So that that's good outreach. It's particularly good outreach to do it for season ticket holders. That is quite a carrot for season ticket holders to be able to do that and see the team like that. But let's see, I haven't missed anything. Kimberly said Louisville did theirs, and I think Kentucky is. Yeah, if you're going to do one, it seems like you would announce it by now. But we're not yet to October, and like I said, I think things are week to week in terms of decisions getting made. Let's go back to our pink shirt for OrangeMountainDesigns.com. $5 of every shirt will be donated to Making Strides Against Breast Cancer here in Knoxville. This is also an NIL shirt that features Jordan Horston, Tamari Key, Ashley Rogers, and Kiki Malloy. Please also support our other sponsors, the Gold Standard, Jamel Johnson's Training and Performance, Orange Mountain Designs, of course, which I mentioned, Collective Unfiltered. Show airs on Monday with Alexis Hornbuckle and Jamel Johnson. Alexis Hornbuckle basketball, just pass it. Tutoring, and of course, Blue Water Climate Control, which is a veteran-owned U.S. Navy veteran heating and air service here in the East Tennessee area. I use them personally, so I'm not just talking about them because they're a show sponsor. There you can set up everything online. I've set them. I'm up as a subscriber maintenance twice a year, and obviously someone I could call if I had issues. So it's a company that is excellent, and I support them. And if you're in this area looking for heating and air from a reputable company that does great business, Blue Water Climate Control is your go-to there. So there, I did all of my obligations as far as advertising. And I think that is all that I have. I'm looking, just follow the schedule closely because there are several 6:30 games. The two South Point shootout games, the Thanksgiving tournament games that are Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving, those are both 6:30 p.m. I believe those would be Eastern time tips. Those probably will be streamed. Those holiday tournaments tend to have their own stream services. So once information about that is available, we will find out. Tennessee will be playing, of course, Oklahoma and Kansas. I call that the Big 12 run of the schedule because they also will be playing Texas in that stretch. So Tennessee will be having a Big 12 little mini tournament there. The SEC tournament, of course, is March 2nd through 6th. I think it's the first week of March in Nashville. After that, the men's tournament is in Nashville for forever. I think through 2035. And Nashville does not host the men and the women in the same year because you cannot lock down Bridgestone Arena for 2 weeks because of concerts, the Predators, everything like that. So if you want to see the Lady Vols in Nashville, get there in 2022 because I don't see them being back in Nashville anytime soon. So just I don't know. I don't think tickets are on sale for that, but don't quote me on that. I know they put out information about them. I appreciate all y'all being here. Everybody for coming, asking the great questions. I keep glancing over the TV because my beloved Braves are playing, and obviously I got to keep up now with volleyball too. Really hoping for another win for the Lady Vols. It's a great sport to watch too. It's a fun sport to watch. Donna said for Nashville, we already have our room. Plus, we put in for the tickets with the Lady Vol ticket office. Fantastic. I mean, if this is, like I said, they're not going to be in Nashville again for a long, long time, at least till 2036 or something if that contract holds up. So get to Nashville if you want to see them in the state of Tennessee. Turn that place orange for Kelly and the team. And I will get to work this week. If you follow me at GoVols 247, the weekly column I write there, I'm going to do my best to put together a complete class of 2023 list. Like I said, I think I got 20 names on it. See if I can throw some out for y'all just because I like y'all. Where did I put it? Let's see. Madison Booker, that's probably one y'all already know. Corey Allen, Ashlyn Shade, of course. Jada Harrison, Delaney Thomas, Sol Williams. I love that name. I believe it's spelled S-O-L-E. So, but that's just a handful of them. There are a lot of names on here for me to sort through and find out everything. Olivia McGee, but that is not inclusive. But those are some 2023 names that I can toss out for you, reading off my computer that I've been putting together. Who else is going? Hotel and tickets bought for Nashville. Ticks through pre-sale SEC. Thank you, Amanda. So I love this show. Y'all teach me things because I can't. It's where I have to get laser focus here coming up soon. Score update. Thank you, Beth. Atlanta 2-0 top of the second. I have put in for vacation requests to be in Nashville. So hopefully we're all COVID done and I can meet people and hoist a brew with people and y'all say hello. So everybody get to Nashville. Let's have some fun. Pat just says, hey, don't forget I need a house sitter. Okay, Patches, you got it. All right, y'all have a great night. Go Lady Vols as always, and peace.